In today's video, I want to talk to you guys about something that we as anglers and we as just humans will never experience again, because we're going to be dead and gone by the time that this phenomenon comes back around, and that is the cicada hatch. Now, I know a lot of you guys are thinking, Alex, what are you talking about? I've seen cicada hatches. We had one just in 2021 with Brood X. We'll have another one again here in about 13 years. But this cicada hatch is a special one because this is a phenomenon that only happens every 221 years. And that is all 7 of the periodical cicada hatches happening at once. And this will pretty much take over every eastern state in the eastern United States east of Oklahoma. And it is going to be absolutely insane to experience and get to witness as a human, because the last time this happened was in the 1800s, which is a crazy thought. But the thing about it is, not only is it going to be a cool phenomenon to experience from just a human standpoint, a scientific standpoint, but it's also going to be awesome to experience as a bass angler, because bass and other predatory fish go absolutely insane for cicadas. And so in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about what the cicada hatch is, what it means for us as bass anglers, and some of the tools that I love to use to catch fish that are eating cicadas. So the cicada hatch, many of you guys may have experienced cicadas before. They are a ground dwelling bug that every few years or once a year, depending on the hatch, crawl up, they'll hatch out of their little shells, and then they start flying around. And it's those bugs that make that god-awful buzzing sound, that bzzz. That's a cicada. And a lot of people call them jar flies. A jar fly is just another form of a cicada, and kind of like jargon slang for cicada. But every few years, you'll get these smaller cicadas, and that's these brood hatches, and these hatches that happen only so often. And these are black and orange little bugs. I'll make sure and flash a picture up on the screen so you guys can check them out. And they are just fascinating little creatures. Now, they don't hurt us as people. They don't hurt our pets. But nature takes full advantage of the fact that they're coming out. You know, not only do bass and other predatory fish come up and just absolutely gorge themselves on them, but nature does as well. There has been instances where they've seen squirrels and possums, raccoons, and even deer eat these cicadas because of the protein content and this what they're able to get out of them, and just nature taking full advantage of this hatch happening and these bugs coming out of the ground. And so what's that going to mean for us as bass anglers? Well, obviously this is a whole, introduction of a massive amount of food to the fish. And last time that we had the Brood X that came out in 2021, it was kind of fascinating to see how bass fishing kind of changed a little bit. Now, it wasn't like this huge drastic thing where all the fish were just eating topwater and you couldn't catch them on anything else, but you definitely saw an uptick in a lot more bass staying shallow a lot longer into the year, and having a bigger population of fish that were living up shallow that, by all accounts, we're taking full advantage of the fact that there was this cicada hatch going on, that there were these things on top of the water that were making a bunch of noise, getting their attention, and they were easy and able to eat them. And it really, for me as an angler, I discovered a couple years ago how much a bass will concentrate in on things like cicadas and small bugs on top of the water, and I started experimenting with different lures and different techniques to get these bass to react to these cicadas hitting the water. And it was fascinating to see just how far a bass would come to eat just a little cicada on top of the water. And it must have just been something in the noises that they made, the way that they moved around on the water, and then probably something in the protein and just things that they were providing to the fish, inside of the fish, and kind of the overall health of the fish that made them concentrate on them even more. And so what I did in 2021, and what I'll focus on this year, is really kind of figuring out the best way to mimic those cicadas and get those fish to eat them. So the number one thing is, a bunch of companies have started making cicada lures. I'll make sure and link my favorite down below in the description, in the pinned comments, so you guys can check them out. But I bought a whole bunch of different ones just to play around with them. Kind of settled on 3 that I really, really like. The first one was the Duo Realis cicada, Megabass makes a cicada, and then Savage Gear makes a cicada. I bought all 3 of those, and all 3 of those did really, really well and did a good job of mimicking those cicadas and getting those bass to eat them. The other thing that I threw was a frog. And you would be amazed, a hollow body frog, and I've talked about this here before, when that frog sits on top of the water and you just give it little small twitches, those legs on the back and that skirt material kind of fan out, and they just kind of sit there and move around. And it does a really good job of looking like some sort of little winged creature for those fish to focus in on. And then the last one was just a straight up simple Wacky Rig General. And the thing about the Wacky Rig General is I was using a black Wacky Rig General because it seemed to do the best of mimicking the black body of those cicadas. And so it's just something I want to put on your guys' radar. I cannot wait to see it again. I love stuff like this. The educator in me and the teacher in me, and last time the Brood X happened, I was actually still teaching, let me and my kids to go out there and to see that happen in nature. And it's just a fascinating process. And if you guys want to see me fishing during the last cicada hatch, click this video. It's popping up right here.